Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Noob Readers. So today we'll be talking about Inferno by Dan Brown. So I have just completed reading this book. I'll just say that it was not that good. Like literally I was expecting a lot more, but it was a pretty average mystery thriller novel. I am getting this feeling that as I am progressing in the series, I am getting pretty sure that the only Dan Brown books that I absolutely loved are Angels and Demons and Da Vinci Code, and somehow all the other books in the series are not that good. They are not up to the expectations because it's either that the first two books are like way too amazing, or it's because of the fact that they were the first Dan Brown books that I read. So I had no experience with that, or maybe that I'm reading more of his work, so this his work is somehow feels like it's pretty repetitive, and I think that maybe I'm just getting bored of the way that he writes, and the first two books were like written pretty amazingly, and somehow the other books are not that good. But if I have to talk about this one, then I'll just say pacing in this book is an issue for me. Like literally when I was reading this one, it began it at a very strong point. Like the way it began, the way this whole mystery thing began, where Robert Langdon wakes up in a completely different country, and he is suffering from amnesia. He doesn't know where he is, he doesn't know what's going on, and he doesn't even remember the past 2 days of his life, and he's so confused and he does not have any answer. He's seeking answers, and then we see that there is this woman called Ventha who's trying to kill him, and Robert is scared. The way that this book started was pretty amazing. But I think that when it came to the midsection of this book, then that what I felt pretty slow, and it was very difficult to get through. Like literally at one point in this book where I was like, this is getting so boring and I don't want to read this book anymore. But for some reason I was like, no, I have to read this one. I have to go through this. I need to finish this book. And then I read some more, and then started getting interesting because whatever action that happens in this book happens at the end. I think I believe that if this book was, written in like lesser pages, then it literally has 462 pages, which is like a lot. If there were a little less pages, then I could have loved this book more. I think if it was like edited in a better way, then I would have loved this one more, because I think that I loved the whole idea in this book, the whole idea where we have this crazy scientist who is the villain of this book, who just thinks that humankind are literally going to end, like our species is going to end one day because of the overpopulation, and how we are running out of food, resources, water, and are like overpopulated, and he just wants to do something about it. And he just firmly believes in the calculations, and he's backed by all these mathematics. We know that whatever that he's talking about makes sense because it is backed up by the mathematics. Main villain Bertrand is actually pretty interesting because we can actually understand what he's trying to say. Then his talk with the WHO director, Dr. Elizabeth Sinsky, and how Sinsky thinks that he is a threat to the mankind because of the way he thinks, and she just tells all the authorities about him and makes all these authorities aware that there is this crazy scientist over there who wants to literally kill people so that the humankind live happily with all the resources that they want. Then we see this very shady organization on this ship called the Mendacium or Mendacium, I don't know. And then we see that the people of this organization are called the consortium, and the leader is the provost. And the provost is basically just doing things for the clients, and he does not ask any questions, and he just delivers whatever the client wants from him, and he just takes the money and then asks no questions, and then does and delivers all the services whatever the client needs. So basically this crazy scientist goes to him and he's like, all these different organizations, government organizations, are trying to stop me, and I need to work, I need to develop something, so I need a safe place. So Provost basically gives him this place. He just hides him, gives him a different identity, and then so that the scientist can use his time. For the past 1 year, he has been working over there, working silently and developing something. And Provost has no idea what this is about. Then Bertrand comes to Provost and he hands him a video file, and then he gives him sort of, it was a packet that was to be delivered to Elizabeth Sinsky. He tells him that this is the date where this video needs to be uploaded to be seen by everyone on the internet. And then he says that this is the package that needs to be delivered on the same date to this particular woman. And he calls Elizabeth as a white-haired devil. Before that, Bertrand actually commits suicide and he dies. So Provost is also pretty confused why he commits suicide, and then there is this package that he needs to deliver. Now what happens is Elizabeth sees that package and she tries to contact Robert regarding it so that he can figure out what this packet is about. Because the packet had this painting basically, and she was just trying to figure out what these letters that are the part of this painting means. So she called Robert and she was trying to make him understand all these things so that he can help her. As Robert was suffering from amnesia, there is this lot of confusion, but in the end, he comes to know that Dr. Sienna, who Robert thought that was on her side, was actually a traitor. And in the end, we know that she was someone who was a huge fan of Bertrand and she was working with him. She just gets a letter where Bertrand tells her that he's developing a bioweapon basically that will change the DNA of the people. So it's basically a virus that can change the genetics of the person. So basically, it can make people infertile. So because he wanted to control the population so much, he created this virus that is going to affect everyone in the country, and it's going to make 1/3 of the population infertile. So then this video that was there, it actually shows the place where this virus is actually contained, and then Robert and his team, they all just go and try to find out what this place is. So basically the virus is actually out. So that date that was mentioned is actually the date when this virus would be spread all around the country. They were not able to stop the virus from spreading. Now everyone is affected by it, and so 1/3 of the population would probably get infertile and they cannot have children. So that's the way that the crazy scientist, actually tried to stop the population. Now that's where this book basically ends, and so we know that the scientist actually was able to do that, and he was actually able to do something about the population. To be honest, I did not like that they were not able to do anything and they were not able to save the world. I just do not like the fact that because the scientist thinks that this is the only way to stop the population, even if whatever that he's saying is true, then also we cannot do that to other humans, right? We cannot just force people into not having children. Making people infertile is not the solution, and I think the kind of thing that happened in the end, the way that they somehow will try to find a cure and somehow try to make this thing, because as the scientists are actually talking about this, they know that it will be very difficult to actually reverse whatever that has been changed, and it can actually do something else to the body and it can be pretty dangerous. So I think it's just that the fact that this scientist actually took it upon himself that he had to come up with a solution because nobody is doing anything. How innocent people have to suffer because of his crazy ideas, even if his ideas made sense and they were mathematically backed. I think that every individual should have the right to choose whether they want to have children or not, and our government or the scientists, nobody has the right to choose anything for us. The ending that we saw is more realistic than if it would were if they were able to stop the virus spread. So I think in that aspect it was good. So I have rated this book 3 star. So should you read this one? Well, I think that it's a good story, but if you're okay with reading a book with some extra pages and it can be a little boring in the center, but apart from that, it was a good book, and maybe you should check this out if you haven't. If you like this video, and if you like whatever that I talked about, then don't forget to give it a like, and if you're new, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.